Welcome to the replay. Welcome everyone to Good Knit Kisses. I'm your host, Kristen, broadcasting remotely. Look at this incredible view. I have missed you guys. It's been the whole weekend and enjoy broadcasting every day, but I am out remotely as you can see. Welcome. I hope you don't mind this oddball location. This is actually the most private one for me to be able to broadcast right now. So it's a little windy and my hair is everywhere, but that's all right. We'll get started. So thank you for joining me today. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you too. And also, if you have questions later on, you can type in replay and write your question, write replay in all caps and write your question, and I will answer it the following Monday if you're on replay. And thank you for catching me live. If you're here, be sure and tell me if you're new. If you've been here before, give me some love. I'm having to hold my phone to broadcast this morning, so I won't be able to use my hand. I talk so bad with my hands. Anyway, welcome again. I'm Kristen at Good Knit Kisses, and I teach how to knit and crochet, loom knit, and craft, have fun on my channel, Good Knit Kisses. And I'm here to encourage and inspire you to be all you want to be, crafting wise and even more. And today is Q&A Monday. I am not teaching anything. I can answer any question you throw at me this morning, practically. But today I wanted to share with you part of my heart. And hopefully, let me know you can hear me okay. If it's too windy, please tell me and I will have to move my location. But good morning, good morning. Please feel free to tap the like and love button if you like what you hear. And please write in the chat, especially like where you're from. Right now, I'm broadcasting remotely. I'm going to flip this around and show you guys. I showed at the beginning of the broadcast. Let me flip it around. Look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? This is in Colorado. Now this is the backyard of where I'm staying, but those mountains way off in the distance are so pretty. So they're not actually that far off, but on film it looks like it. So welcome. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about Embrace Grace and also I'm calling it Pink Missions, and I'm actually going on a mission trip in October, and normally every what we call semester, every spring and fall, we do Embrace Grace, and my knitting group and another knitting group and whoever wants to participate and help send in things, but we send in handmade items. Good morning, Nikki. We send in handmade items, usually knit and crochet, sometimes sewn, and they are handmade with love and given to women who, to their babies, but who are in the Embrace Grace program. So Embrace Grace, if you are not familiar with it, you can check it out at embracegrace.com. They're a nonprofit, and they actually have different, they're in, I think, 3 countries now, and they are they're in 35 or more states now, but they started here locally, and what they do is love on women who are choosing to have a baby, and they are out of wedlock. They're having usually their first baby, and they have no support system, and basically they just love on them where they are and have them go through this 11-week program, and they basically are training them up, equipping them, and helping them along the way and encouraging them, instead of just like the church as a whole, not my church, but the church as a whole, of course, encourage, to not, get abortions or whatever, that kind of, but they, sometimes that support stops and there's not really a program or something like that. So Embrace Grace is a program that, hey, sorry about that. I've got a kind of hard connection here. Hey, Ellie, good morning. But Embrace Grace comes alongside them where they are in their local church or local place, and loves on these women. And they could be anywhere from 15 to say 25 years old. I've seen as young as 14 in the program, and but it's every semester, and they're all about pro-love. They're like, this is not about pro-choice or pro-life. This is about pro-love. We're going to love on you and come alongside you. And so they go through this program, and at the end of the program, they have a big giant baby shower. Like every girl gets a big massive like banquet kind of table that normally seats like 8 or 10, and they're like piled high with gifts just for her and her child. Actually, last semester there were 2 sets of twins. They were both boys, sets of twin boys, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, but we try to make sure and give each one of them a gift. So I get an advance list pretty as early on as I can. Usually I try to get it by September, and then it has all the details on it. But most of the time people aren't making stuff and sending them in or making them in my group for the specific list. It's amazing how God works. If you are making something and you decide to send it in, there's just something about the timing, and it always works out. And I look at the list and I pray over the list, and whatever I get in, I start kind of moving things around, like, oh my goodness, this is exactly what they asked for. And like some things just would not work for someone, and they were left over from the semester before, and then it was like, wow, this was the perfect timing. And people who are in the program could be anywhere from just a few weeks pregnant to full term, and they give birth like during the whole process. So, and that's okay. And what's really cool is we get to hold on some of these babies at the baby shower. So that's really fun. The second semester I ever did it was we had 62 people. Last year I think it was around 40 or so. Anyway, sometimes women anytime during the program, will go to they choose to do adoption. And last semester, unfortunately, one of the girls did not carry to term. She lost her baby last spring, and it's just devastating to lose a child. And we had already pledged to do something for her, and I didn't want to just leave it at that, like, oh, that's one less to do. So I had asked one of my friends in the group. She normally makes these prayer shawls. She's part of our prayer shawl ministry at our church. And I honestly did not have any time to do it. And my heart was to do it. So I asked her, I said, please, do you think that your prayer shawl that you can work on right now, do you think you can make one for her? And these are her specific colors that she wanted. And so Crystal made a beautiful, beautiful shawl, and she ended up was able to deliver it to her. I think she actually had to hand deliver it to her. I'm not sure. I think she had to go. She ended up going to the Embrace Grace offices. So anyway, welcome. If you're just joining us, please type in where you're from and ask me any questions. I don't have to just talk about Embrace Grace and Pink Missions today. And I know it's a hard subject for some people. I've gotten some flack on, not too much, but on my YouTube channel, I have, if you want to check out Embrace Grace on my channel, you can actually write that in, but I have like a little, a trailer video, and at the end I talk about it. But I've experienced some people, getting upset in YouTube comments, and, and they're like, what about a victim of rape? What about, I'm like, well, I was a victim of sexual abuse, and if that had happened to me, I would have wanted a program like this, because I would not have wanted anything to happen to my baby, even if I put it up for adoption. So to be loved on throughout the process is amazing. And so I'm not saying that someone shouldn't get one, if that, but that's not where my heart is, and it's about loving on people, and especially people who are hurting in that area and need even more. So, anyway, so kind of moving on from there, but good morning, Joanne. So yeah, embracegrace.com if you want to check it out. If you ever want to donate to it, you're welcome to. I just donate, like some people like sending gifts for them and do that kind of stuff. What I do is, make however many blankets or hats or whatever I can find. And then we piece them all together and put together a package. Good morning, Pam. Oh, Saginaw, Texas. Oh, I didn't realize you're in Saginaw, Pam. Or have you come on before? You were super close to where I am. Well, not right now. I'm remote right now. So anyway, to where I live. I'm in the North Fort Worth area, Pam. No, I mean, normally. Hey, Joanne. You were so cute. Y'all, I love y'all saying good morning to each other, Ellie and Joanne. Good morning, Patricia in Australia. Yes, good day. Good morning, Andrea. Welcome. I love this little good morning section. Got my girls this morning. Are you guys having coffee or tea or anything? I know well around the world it may not be morning, but it's morning here. It's a little earlier than usual for me broadcasting. And honestly, I was going to do a better location here in the house that I'm staying, but um my husband's sleeping right here. I'm letting him sleep in. And I heard the kids up way too early. They're downstairs. I'm like, okay, this is not happening. And I didn't even have time to go down. And I was like, I'm not going to broadcast in the car. This is too pretty. So, do y'all want to see my view? Did y'all get to see it earlier? I'll show you again a little later. So, anyway, but the Embrace Grace, if you ever want to send anything in, it, yeah, oh, your caffeine is soda. That's good too. Okay, sorry. I got to it's a hard connection. Sorry, I did the screen had stopped for a second. Um, so you want me to flip it? Okay, let me show you my view. This is so pretty. Sorry, that's the satellite dish. There's the mountains in the background. About to get into the sun here. Woo! I can't even see what I'm showing you. And that's Reddit, but I'm on a balcony, and that's actually part of the house. This is like a house for um, several people, but I'm in one of the masters. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? So I can't even show you. Like, whoop! This is the house, but down there, I don't know if you can see. Anyway, down there is like a hot tub. So the hot tub's down there. I was gonna have Louisa on with me this morning, but she's still sleeping. she's she's not as more early morning person as I can be. So are are we in summer? Yes, yes, Patricia, we're in summer. Um, this is kind of towards the end of summer. I mean, technically, I'm trying to remember, September something is actually the fall, but I kind of consider September 1st the fall. But yeah, it's a hot month. This is a busy month for my family because I have three kids and all three of their birthdays are in August. So we celebrated two already, and then we've got one more coming up on Friday. So anyway, so real quick to kind of wrap up Embrace Grace. So embracegrace.com. But if you ever want to send in anything, baby stuff, you're welcome to send it to me. And I have it in my P.O. box, which should be on the website, but it's like P.O. Box 90 in Keller, Texas, 76244. So yeah, you were cold. Yeah, this morning. Well, right now it's cold. This morning it'll heat up. And I'm in Colorado, and Colorado is much cooler than Texas. When we left Texas, it was like 105 or 106, and then coming here, it was like it got down to like 50. It's probably good 50 degrees right now, maybe 55. I don't have any shoes on, but honestly, this feels good. This is fine. And it'll warm up. So, yeah, but my toes are cold. Actually, I'm going to switch hands because my fingers need to move. They're a little cold. So, anyway, let me see. I don't want to do it too much. I really wanted to have the mountains in the background, but I was afraid of the railing. I don't want to fall off during a live broadcast and send you guys into palpitations. So, you're cool and raining. Aw, it's just so pretty. If you check out my page, I have posted several public pictures and some of the drives that we're on. It's really cool. He had a bad heat wave in New Jersey this past week. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I identify the bad heat in Texas for sure. So, yeah. Oh, okay. So, anyway, the Embrace Grace stuff, it's twice a year, and it goes on in October. Sorry, it's usually November, so I usually trying to get things by the end of October, and then the next one is in the fall. I mean the spring, and I usually it's like in last of March, early April, depending on how they plan it, and I usually try and get things by the end of February, but mid March or so. So if you are sending anything in. I would love to be able to provide for more than just the local church where I do it, but it is worldwide. And check your state if there's one nearby, because there could be one coming up. And they have programs for churches all over, so it's not like a denominational thing. It's just about loving on girls. Oh, Does anybody follow beauty contests? And I don't know if they call them beauty contests, perhaps pageants and things. Do y'all know Mrs. International? And does anybody watch those? My friend, uh, she was Mrs. Wyoming, and then she just won Mrs. International, Priscilla Pruitt, and gorgeous, gorgeous. But she does this thing called for baby boxes, and they are actually these really neat. They're like these boxes that are cut out into like a fire station wall, and you open them up, and it's like a nice nestled place for and it's two ways, so like the other side can receive it, but say a fire station, the baby can lay on there, someone can drop off a baby and instead of sadly somewhere else, can drop off the baby there, and it's weighted, and soon as like a baby is placed on it, well, first of all, there's things for them, blankets and things like that, but it's weighted, and so it sends this alert to someone to know that I think I don't know if it sends it to the hospital or the place that they're giving it to, because it could happen any time of the day, but it's available and open, and they're trying to get them out everywhere, but it's a new thing, and that's one of her causes that she supports. So I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about my friend Priscilla. So she's a beautiful, beautiful person inside and out. So if you ever want to look up Mrs. International 2016, Priscilla Pruitt, just an outstanding, warm-hearted person. So the other thing I want to talk about is Pink Mission. So if you have not heard about sex trafficking, you are living somewhere in a hole. I don't know. But human trafficking is a huge problem that many people aren't talking about. There's things that are just now coming out, and you see it every once in a while on the news. And it's not something to live your life in fear, but it's knowing that okay, so it cut out, sorry. But it's knowing that it actually happens, and be aware of your surroundings. But there are places that rescue these people, and there is a place where they've rescued ladies from sex trafficking, human trafficking, and I'm going to be going the second weekend of October for, I think it's like 4 days, and I decided to see if I could bring some things. And so I'm bringing shawls and scarves. And I think we've got some hats coming. But I'm going to bring them to these women and just love on them. And there may even be children there too. So I've got a few things that are for kids because I don't know the ranges. I'm probably going to be 30 at this location. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing right now. That's my Pink Mission right now. And I am going on it with my church. However, it's not our church that does it. We're just going alongside of another organization, and we're just going to be there to, I can't remember what they call it, like level 2 or something. It's kind of like they're in the post-recovery stage, and then they're getting them ready for helping them, get back out into the world. So I'd love to be able to bring them some looms or something and teach them. I'm going to see, I don't know what all I can bring. So I'm in the process of getting permissions and things, but I think it would be neat to teach them how to do, how to knit or even, loom, and just find something very relaxing for them. If you're there, can you do hearts or likes or type in the comments and let me know what you're thinking, or if you can see and hear me, just because of my connection. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, that is just dear to my heart. I really want to come alongside and just love on people, really. Yeah, it really is, Andrea. I think so. I just, you never know what happens to people in behind closed doors, and it could even be here, nearby you. Just to talk about the abuse that I've suffered. So I've been working on getting better and talking about it and healing and forgiveness and there's actually biblical forgiveness and 3 different types of forgivenesses. You don't have to just because someone doesn't apologize to you doesn't mean you can't forgive them, but you can't, it's not like a normal, it's like a judicial one, and I need to, it's healthy for me to forgive that, but mostly it's forgiving myself because I know I didn't do anything wrong, but forgiving myself for not speaking up and all that other pain it caused me. You have needles to donate? Oh, that would be amazing, Pam. Yeah, I'll take whatever I can. Again, I'm going to make sure about permission about what I can bring. I was thinking looms would be, definitely be safe to take. It is a car trip away. It's not local enough, but it's, anyway, but there's an event, by the way, there's an event page on my Good Knit Kisses page. So if you're on the Good Knit Kisses page, and go to events, it's for Pink Missions. And there's several patterns in there that I recommend, one for needle and loom and crochet, and actually a couple in each. And then I've just put links in there. So if people want something to kind of go by, I did it according to what the weather sort of is like in that area. Good morning, Stacia. Hello. How are you today? So that would be amazing, Pam. So I'm just kind of wrapping up here, but, I had another thought, but I was just about to talk about the abuse that I suffered though. But what I suffered was, I had a neighbor, since the age of 4, basically groom me. If you don't know, good morning. First of all, I just want to stop for a second. Stacia, I'm so sorry for your family's loss. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing the pictures of that sweet baby. Anyway, I'm just so sorry. I've been thinking about you, and I don't write. You know, losing a child is hard, and I don't. You know, it's hard to just write what you think on social media. But anyway, I've just kind of been hitting the love button on your stuff, and anyway, love you. Sorry. Yeah, thank you, Ellie. So yeah, just all hard stuff today. That's okay. But mine was abused by a neighbor, and it was not who you would think. It was not an older man or something like that. It was actually a girl who was just a few years older than I. And so, you know, if you haven't heard of grooming, you need to really be aware, because this has to do tying back in with that sex trafficking and all that kind of stuff. And not that I was trafficked, but there is something called grooming. And when someone abuses someone else, they tend to groom everyone around them, meaning they woo people. They're very charismatic. You know, you hear in the news like, oh, that was our neighbor and they were wonderful. They didn't do anything. And, you know, they were very sweet and they were giving and they would give their time and they would do stuff for other people, blah, blah, blah. And that is dangerous, because not believing the victim is very dangerous, because then the person who did the abusing, it can continue. And you know, you only hear about some really horrible cases where something happened beyond sexual. It happened to be violent. And so those are the ones that get more attention. But the non-violent can do just as much or more damage. It is lifelong. And mine happened, you know, starting at age 4, and then actually, you know, things started happening at age 5 and 6 and went on for several years. And my parents didn't know. The person who did it was a very charismatic person, was a cheerleader, and she went to church with us. Her parents were never around. Her mom was perpetually single, and then back again. She was divorced and had boyfriends, and so her mom was never there. She was always working. And so she was an only child, very alone, and nobody knew. And it was really hard. And so, but what happened with that is, because nobody knew, then later on, I started becoming abused in other ways and vulnerable to other things, which I didn't know. And but I have such a heart for these people. And hearing more and more about the sex trafficking stuff, it can happen in your backyard. There's, you know, people who are taken, like they befriend a person, a girl, and they take advantage of them. They'll say, hey, I'm going to come over and spend the night or whatever, or come over in the middle of the night, like text and say, hey, I'm outside your house, come on out. And then someone else comes and picks them up. This stuff is actually happening. And so anyway, that's why I'm going along. I want to learn more about what's going on. So I'll be going on this missions trip, and I'll be coming alongside them and just loving on these ladies. And if they tell me their story, they'll tell me their story. If not, I'll just be there. And I want to in the meantime, besides just giving them something, I want them to know that the shawls and the scarves that we're taking to them were made and knit with love for them, because they are important. They are absolutely beautiful, and they are important. And anyway, I just want them to know that they're loved, and a stranger, loved them enough to make them something for them. And but also, I'd love to be able to teach them something too while I'm there, because as many of you know, many people who knit and crochet and do handcrafts and stuff have some kind of hurt in their heart. Many people are depressed or have anxiety or have other physical disabilities or inabilities, different struggles. And so we find it very soothing in our soul to make these handcrafts. It's not only, handy and beautiful work and beautiful to give to someone else and let them feel loved, but it really helps us too. And so I would like to come alongside them and teach them how to do something, even if it's simple, and then they learn more later. So anyway, I'm excited to do that. So, anyway, so I kind of went through all those things. So we did Embrace Grace, and then talking about the baby boxes with Priscilla Pruitt. If you look up Mrs. International, that's her. And she is beyond gorgeous, y'all. I mean, like, if you look at her and her husband, I'll tell you a funny story. Years ago, like when I first got on Facebook, do y'all remember when everybody was like, doppelgangers, what's your doppelganger? Like, look for like the most beautiful, like, celebrity, like, what's your doppelganger celebrity person? And so Priscilla and her husband, Sean, posted pictures of their doppelgangers. And I'm like, you guys are more beautiful than your doppelgangers. Like seriously. Anyway, but not only are they beautiful outwardly, but they are beautiful people. Sean, her husband, is actually a pastor in Wyoming to youth. And this town they live in, right now, I'd have to go look it up right now, but apparently the town they live in is actually one of, or the highest rate of suicides in that town, and the Lord just led them there and to minister to the youth there. And so it's highly prevalent in their community. It's really bad off. So anyway, they're just wonderful people. And anyway, so then we talked about the Pink Missions, and that'll be the second week in October. And that's pretty much it. I looked to see for last week's, kind of moving on, I looked to see the Q&A for last week's Monday, and I did not see any replay questions, because this is kind of a new thing to ask for questions later. So anyway, I don't really have any other questions to answer. I know I kind of talked about some rough things. It may be hard for you to just ask me something, but if you are watching this later, or you just want to come back to it, just type replay, like in all caps or something, or just replay, and then write your question for me, and then I'll try and answer it the next week. So anyway, well, I guess I'm going to get back to my family then. Y'all want to see Colorado again real quick before I go? Let me flip around. Let's see if I can give you another view here. Here we go. Isn't that gorgeous? This house we're staying in has like 7 acres or something, so it kind of drops off. It's not all flat here, and it kind of goes down. And he's got like a little reservoir thing that he started building, like a waterfall thing, and it's not quite filled up down there. And there's a little shack down there, and this is the top balcony, but there's one like down below. I can't tell my what I'm showing you because I've got the sun right in my eyes. But anyway, this down here has like a little hammock, and then like a 6-person table. And it has like an 8-person hot tub or something. And thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Ellie. So yeah, the view is gorgeous. I've been trying to post pictures again on my personal profile. So if y'all want to hop on over there, if we are not friends on Facebook, if it doesn't say the add friend for you, just message me here and send me a message on there. And if it goes to other mailboxes, I'll have to check that. I hate how Facebook does that. It like hides stuff from you. So anyway, and then we'll friend up. So Excuse me. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me again today. I hope you have a beautiful day, even if it is not beautiful outside, and just make it a great one. Love on the ones that you have, and remember those that you've lost. Mwah. Love you. Bye.